In this video, you will learn about how to use university rankings. In fact, you will become far more informed than most of the people who use these rankings if you watch this video till the end. First of all, I'm going to talk about how these university rankings are made. Then I'm going to show you how to use them. And then I'm going to touch on pros and cons of these rankings. And also I'm going to talk about the alternative methods of understanding the quality of higher education institutions. I hope that you are ready for this. Let's go. Hey everyone, my name is Ilnur Miftahov and I'm an educational consultant, and on my YouTube channel I usually share some education related content and some tips for the professional development of educators. So if you're into these kind of things, go check my channel out and do subscribe. So university rankings are the rankings of higher education institutions, obviously, right? So these rankings help us to compare different universities. To do that, these rankings use different combinations of different criteria, and usually to create these criteria, they refer to easily quantifiable characteristics, okay? Rankings are usually conducted by some bloggers, magazines, newspapers, governments, and so on, right? But the most influential and popular rankings are made by the specialized ranking agencies. I will list the three main agencies for you. So first of them is QS World University Ranking, then Times Higher Education World University Ranking, and also Academic Ranking of World Universities. So these three agencies are seen as the most influential and popular, so we're going to be discussing them today. I will show you one of them in a second, but before I go into that, I just want you to think about the reasons why these rankings are there. How come they take this important role in our lives, and how come they are there? What are the reasons for that? Reasons. Well, the first reason is obviously that people believe that university rankings are a nice way to understand the quality of higher education. If you are into this topic, I had made 2 videos about this topic, about education quality and quality assurance. Probably the main reason why people believe rankings are really good, because they believe that rankings help to understand the quality of a university. As the second reason for the rankings to be there, I would mention the factor of globalization. So the world is nowadays hyper connected, right? So there is this, natural willingness of people to compare everything in the world, because since we can see everything, right? Why don't we compare so that we would understand which universities in which country, in which context are better than the others, right? So yeah, people like to compare. And the third reason why university rankings are there, I believe, is the fact that the world nowadays is so complex, ambiguous, unpredictable, uncertain. It's just completely crazy. And the people in these circumstances are looking for some firm ground under their feet. They're just basically looking for some ways to decrease the stress. And voila, the university rankings jump out of the bushes, as we say here in Russia, and they promise us this very simple, easy to digest model of the world, and where everything is just crystal clear. This university is number 1, this university is number 10, so this one is better than this one. Just that simple. Now that we've talked about the reasons why university rankings are there, I will now quickly demonstrate you how they actually work. If you Google here QS ranking, you will see the site actually. So QS World University Ranking, and their site is topuniversities.com, and this is basically the QS ranking site. So they have rankings over here, and there are different kinds of rankings. Overall rankings, then rankings by subjects, and some other rankings. So let's go check the overall university's ranking, right? So you click here, and then you see that here, results 2022, view full list. And you go there, and this is basically the ranking. MIT is the first, University of Oxford second, then third, and so on. So yeah, here you can see the overall score. So here you can see that there are different criteria that you can choose, like for example, region. I've never seen Latin American universities. Let's have a look. Universidad de Buenos Aires, number 69, they say. You see, it's fun. Interesting. Or, for example, you can have a look by location, like, for example, United Kingdom, right? You can see here, the University of Oxford, University of Cambridge, University College London. Where is the University of Bristol? Oh my goodness, 62. So you can examine any university in details, okay? Like University of Bristol. I used to study there, I did my master's there, and they say they are 62nd today. But when I was applying there in 2018, they were ranked 44th. And I believe something went wrong after I visited them because, yeah, you see, they go down and down and down. Okay, yeah, no worries. And the second thing that I wanted to show you here is the ranking by subject. This is also very important. Like, for example, in my case, arts and humanities, we choose specific subject here. For example, in my case, again, education and training. And then you will see that the ranking is different. For example, UCL here becomes first, or Harvard becomes second, or Toronto in Canada becomes third. You see, the rankings by subject are different from the overall rankings, and this is very important because, say, if you want to learn something, if you want to learn management, you better go to a university which teaches management best, right? Or if you want to learn biology, you better choose the one that does biology really well. So this is basically it. This is the example of university ranking site. The other ranking sites are pretty much similar, and this is the way you use them, okay? Now let's also very briefly talk about how these rankings are made. How they are made. Well, first of all, it's important to understand that these rankings are completely artificial. In terms of, these numbers are not real. They don't mean that actually this university is better than that one. It's just a result of certain criteria used in a certain way, okay? As I was saying before, these rankings use these very easily quantifiable characteristics, and it doesn't really express the complexity of the world, okay? This is the first thing. And the second, let's talk about the methodology. Now here, on the screen, you can see the methodology of these main three rankings. Like here, for example, QS World University Ranking. Academic reputation makes 40% of the grade there, then employer reputation 10%, then student to faculty ratio 20%, and so on and so on. And if you look at the Times Higher Education World University Ranking, you can see that teaching here makes 30%. And there are some, more details which then make these 30%. Then research citations, international outlook, and industry income. You see? An academic ranking of world universities, alumni, awards, like for example, this is interesting. They look at how many people have won Nobel Prizes, for example. So I just brought up all these criteria here on one screen so that you could just see how different these rankings are. So these actually means that the very same university, according to different rankings, will have different ranking number. By the way, if you feel like your colleagues or friends will benefit from this video, would you please kindly send this video to them as well? Now let's talk about pros and cons of using university rankings. Pros. Now the very best thing about these rankings, obviously, is that they provide us with this very general information about the university. Very, very general. This is just nice to orient yourself in this very complex world, as we were saying, but we have to at the same time be aware of the fact that this is a very simple model of the world. But yes, we do need this very simple picture sometimes, right? But there are also many disadvantages of these university rankings, and I believe you have to know about them in details. Cons. There are many articles that talk about these flaws of these university rankings, and some of the things that they mention there are these, okay? Now, the very first disadvantage of these rankings, I believe, is that they are often taken in isolation of the methodology in which they were created, okay? So people, users like us, go and check the numbers, the ranking numbers of universities, but in fact they do not think about whether these particular methodology of a particular ranking system actually reflects my needs. Because what I need in a particular university might not be say, Nobel Prize winners or something else, right? These methodology issues might not be correlated with my needs. This is a very important thing. Another objective thing here is that these university rankings tend to, isolate again the universities that do not teach or publish in English. Like, for example, Chinese universities, or maybe some Russian universities, or maybe some Spanish universities. These kind of things, If their main language is not English, it will be reflected in their ranking as well. Also, there is another thing here is that these university rankings are heavily skewed, say, towards science. And these also creates this, disbalance of things. And also, these rankings actually kill diversity, because by bringing in these criteria, they actually influence the universities and make them reorganize themselves to be matching these criteria, but at the same time they might be losing some unique characteristics that they used to have. So this negatively affects the diversity of higher education. There are also lots of statistical problems with these rankings. I will link a reference, go check out an article on that. And the last but not least negative side of these rankings is the fact that money is involved in this process. These agencies need to earn money, right? And sometimes universities pay them money for administrating their own pages. And when money is involved, it can always influence the motivation of both sides. So it's a bit tricky. And let's briefly mention the alternatives of university rankings, okay? Alternatives. So as an alternative, you can have a look at U multi-ranking. Here is the side of it, okay? You can go and visit and check it out. So the main difference of U multi-ranking is that it is completely user-driven. You can adjust the system, the criteria completely by yourself, and you receive your own personal ranking of universities. And yeah, this is completely something different from the rankings that we saw just previously. So this is a good alternative. I will leave the link, you can go and have a look there. Now that you've watched this video to the end, share this video with your friends, check out these two videos over here, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next videos. Goodbye.